Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Yahweh Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for pushing 100% truth, reviewing well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom. This is Montazat Lacham. I was, scrolling through the brothers' videos, and I came across the video Elder Malcolm had put up a couple days ago, and I seen what he was referring to on the video, because I watched the whole thing, and Elder Malcolm had seen this video and said one of the brothers had sent it to him on the chat. So I went to go look for this video, and sure enough, man, I think y'all need to hear this. This woman here, real talk, man. This is deep. I'm so glad, that these Edomites are waking up to the fact that they fucked up and that they're going to be exterminated. Now, look, it's not about black people or God's chosen or anything like that. The Israelites are the chosen people of the Most High God, and only the elect of the chosen of the Most High God's people will be saved. Okay? And this woman, although she may look like on the outside, she may look like an Edomite Caucasian, the spirit that is within her lets us know that highly probable that she's an Israelite. Okay? Because she has a repentant heart, for one, and two, she has an understanding. Okay? A little bitty understanding, not much, but a small understanding of the name of the Lord. Okay? Okay? She's attached to Yah Israelites and Deborah and Yahoo over at Watchman Reports, probably, more than likely. But Lord will, before it's over, before this place is burnt, she'll come into the full name of the Lord, which his name is Yahweh, which means he exists, and the name of Yahweh Shai means he is salvation. Okay, that is the name of the Father and the name of the Son, as it is written in Proverbs chapter 30, verse 4. What is his name and what is his son's name, if thou canst tell? That created the heavens, the earth, the sea, all that is therein, and the foundations of water, right? Roughly paraphrased. But anyway, okay, so Israelites have taken all forms, shapes, sizes, and colors, if you want to base it on color, because our people have been scattered, into all the nations on the face of the earth. Okay, so after 2 or 3 generations of marrying into the heathen, our children are going to look like the heathen when they come out at the end of the day. You have interrelational relationships all over the fucking place. Okay, that's okay. It goes back to the seed line of your fathers, like it says in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 18. No, I think it's Joshua or the book of Numbers 1 and 18. When it goes back to the seed of your fathers, by your poles. Okay. All right. So let me go get that right quick and make sure. Okay, because I was reading what was going on the video. But anyway, yeah. Okay. Well, I'll get to that later, because I have a tendency to be all over the place, right? Okay. The blacks are the chosen, right? All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of that. Boom.
Sure, taking a screenshot.
Okay. So I'm going to take a screenshot of that. But anyway, let's listen to what she said.
We're talking about the tribe of Judah specifically and their trip to America. How did America take God's chosen? And how do we know it's America? How do we know America's Babylon? I think about, even as a child, when I'm from South Carolina, and I remember going to the slave market. And I remember thinking, this is wrong. We're at the slave market. The world needs the lost sheep of Israel to know who they are. Shalom. Before I get started, I would like to say prayers that are not mine.
Yeah.
We hope that you will find this information supportive, maybe a tool to use with your family members. I know that all of us still have family members that we're worried about in the Christian church, and I'm honored to be a part of the mission. It's an honor. today I want to talk about what I think is possibly the most misunderstood and underestimated book of the Bible, Deuteronomy. I think that as Christians, this is a Christian nation. I think everybody pretty much grew up with Christians in their family or in the Christian church. I know that I was in Christianity, I think, for 42 years of my life, and I would venture to say that the Old Testament is severely neglected in Christianity, which is ironic because when we think about the Messiah and we think about the books that he had the scrolls that made up, he had the Torah and the prophets. And of course, the teaching of the time was, if you teach against the Torah and the prophets, there's no light in you. So the Torah and the prophets were everything to the Messiah and his followers. And of that work, I think that Deuteronomy 28 in particular, that chapter 28, is one of the most underestimated, misunderstood chapters in the book, because when you know just that chapter, the whole word comes to life, and the history that we see, the prophecy that we see that has been fulfilled in recent history and is being fulfilled right now. So let's just talk about what we're taught. So many people are taught that the so-called black people in the Americas are simply Africans who were randomly captured and sold into slavery. But when we search the scriptures and the historical record together, a different picture emerges. One that reveals that these people were not just Africans, but exiled Israelites fulfilling the curses of the law. So let's take it back to 70 AD. What was 70 AD? So 70 AD was roughly 37 years after our 33-year-old Messiah was lynched on a tree and resurrected. So the Messiah was crucified, died, lynched, and resurrected, and approximately 37 years later, the Roman armies destroyed Jerusalem and scattered the children of Israel that were there. Now, the children of Israel that were there were the tribe of Judah. They were known as Judah. There were Benjamites there, and there were Levites there, and the southern kingdom was made up of Judah and those people. The northern kingdoms, remember, fell about 750 years prior to his birth. So we're, almost, there's 800-900 years between the scattering of the northern kingdom and the scattering of the southern kingdom. And I want to apologize now because I know people are going to talk in the comments. I don't know much about the tribes of the northern kingdom. I'm going to dig into that. But right now, I'm just really trying to learn how to live a righteous life and try to build something of substance for a good life here. So I don't know much about the northern kingdom and where they ended up. But we're talking about the tribe of Judah specifically and their trip to America. How did America take God's chosen? And how do we know it's America? How do we know America's Babylon? When the Roman armies took the city of Jerusalem and the Israelites were forced to flee, some were taken into captivity and many fled into Africa. Over generations, these Israelites migrated through northeast Africa and into West Africa. This migration is documented by the impact of their culture. What does that mean? Their language, tribes that are called by Hebrew names, Levitical priestly traditions that were taught and picked up and now practiced still to this day. We know that they were living there and that they carried their Israelite laws and customs with them. We find Hebrew customs and Levitical priestly traditions and Israelite names among the West African tribes. These were not strangers to the Bible. They were actually the living descendants of it. But the Bible warned that exile would not end in Africa. In Jeremiah 16:14-15, we read, "It shall no more be said, the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of Egypt. But the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north." So something bigger than a 400-year captivity of Israelites in Egypt is going to happen. And we're not going to talk about what happened in Egypt anymore. We'll be talking about the Lord bringing his chosen out of Mystery Babylon. The land of the north that is mentioned in this piece of scripture, where it says we won't talk about what happened in Egypt, but the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north. The land of the north is not Africa, it is North America. Scripture shifts the focus from Egypt to the new captivity that will be greater than the captivity seen in Egypt. This leads us to the transatlantic slave trade. From 1500s to 1800s, millions of Israelites mislabeled as Africans were kidnapped from West Africa and brought into the Americas in chains. This was not random human cruelty. It was the fulfillment of Deuteronomy 28:68, which says Israel would be taken by ships into a land that did not know, into a land they did not know, and they would be sold as slaves, and no man would save them. No other people in human history fit the prophecy the way Black, Latino, and Native descendants of Americans do. The people that were dispersed among North America, South America, and the Caribbean. America is not just any land. According to Scripture, there's a mysterious Babylon, and it's spoken about in Revelation 17 and 18. A powerful nation. This mystery Babylon will be a powerful nation built on stolen labor, stolen wealth, and blood. Now, for those of you who know my Facebook, I am constantly demonstrating things that highlight curses. And my thing is, this is America, lowercase a, blood, white, and blue. It's not red, white, and blue. It's blood, white, and blue. So we're talking about a powerful nation built...
Blood, white, okay. Blood, white supremacy, and tears.
Built on stolen labor with stolen wealth and on blood. Revelation 18 and 24 says, in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. I think about, even as a child, when I'm from South Carolina, and I remember going to the slave market. And I remember thinking, this is wrong. We're at the slave market. You know, the slave market, the market in Charleston is this beautiful market spread out, and women of color are weaving baskets and doing handmade basket weaving, and artists from all over the area, the region, have beautiful artwork of the ocean and the plantations and the oak trees and all of the southern charm. And you're at the slave market. The auction house where slaves were sold is right there. There's blood on the ground right there that never got answered. The blood is on the ground calling out to the Creator for justice. People were paraded around and inspected like animals. Children, little girls were sold. Do you think there's not Abba blood on that ground? Do you think there wasn't an Abba that died rather than watch his child be sold? There were mothers lost their babies, husbands lost their wives. This is an area that I don't even know how people fix their face to say, hey, let's go to the market. Let's go to the slave market today and walk our dog on ground. I submit that ground is hollow ground, and the blood of the saints are on that ground. And I thought that as a child, as a teenager. The slave market. That's in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm sure they're everywhere. Whose blood is found in Babylon? The saints are Israel, the holy people of the Most High, the apple of his eye, his inheritance. And where was blood seen on a massive scale? So we've got the blood, we've got the stolen labor, we've got the stolen wealth, the stolen land. Yeah, Mystery Babylon is the United States. United States has had the chosen people of the Most High in captivity, and still, Deuteronomy tells us that even after their time of iniquity, they will still suffer a perpetual hate, And I have come up against well-to-do, black, affluent people that have made it and had an education and doing well in life and live a comfortable life, and they think I'm crazy. But I'm sorry, it's still happening. The blood is still being spilled. It's still happening. We are still seeing this. It is perpetual. These people are we are still in active curses.
Let's get it. Let's go get Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, right? Seir. And prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. And I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Why? Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Our iniquity is at an end. These motherfuckers are still trying to shoot us in the back. They're trying to set us up for failure. They want to put us in homeless encampments and say it's a felony offense to be homeless. Well, if you refuse to take the digital ID and be a part of their and participate in their cashless society through central bank digital currencies, okay, and you refuse to take the digital ID, how are you going to live? How are you going to eat? where are you going to stay? You become homeless. Donald Trump signed an executive order that makes it homeless people a felony offense. It makes it a felony to be homeless. So they've put your ass in a detention facility, a homeless encampment. They're popping up all over the United States now. Okay? And the only way that you can't even get out. You can't even leave unless you be a willing participant of the digital ID central bank digital currency system, okay, which is the mark of the beast. The radio frequency identification micro C-HIP to be subcutaneously implanted underneath your skin. Or you can have the option of the Elon Musk Neuralink brain chip. Either way, you fall into biblical prophecy. Prophecy means to say before it happens. That's all it means. Right? Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. And this is the fear that these Edomite Caucasians are having in these nightmares that the Most High said that would happen in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 28, that the Lord would pour his spirit upon all flesh. Right? Let's go get it. See if I can find it. Joel 2, 28. Okay. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. And the servants of the Most High God and the handmaids and the servants of the Most High God are the elect of the Most High, of Israel. The Israel of the Most High God. Like it says in the book of Galatians, 6 and 16, right? And as many as walk according to this rule, peace be on them and mercy, and upon the Israel of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. The Israel of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, or the Israel of God that you might want to say, make you feel more comfortable, okay, are the elect of the house of Israel. Those individuals that have been chosen by the Most High to receive salvation here in these last days. Preordained with the foreknowledge of the Most High. Salakia. Salakia. Okay. Now, let's get back to what the woman was saying. Okay. Alrighty. Where was we at? Yeah. Boom.
Okay, from slavery to Jim Crow to lynchings to segregation to modern oppression, this is not merely racism. It is the continued captivity of Israel in the land of the north. Let me be clear to all of Israel, because people will put things in the comments about, like I'm trying to excuse what my people did here, that not in any way, shape, or form, because it was for prophecy and it was prophesied that it would happen. That surely does not excuse the perpetrators. That does not excuse the wickedness. So yeah, it was prophecy, and the Most High is in control. But a wicked evil happened here by wicked evil people. The good news is the story doesn't end there either. It didn't end in Africa, and it does not end in curses. Let me tell you. And it does not end in curses. Let me tell you how it ends. In Deuteronomy 30, 1 through 3, Moses prophesies that after Israel experiences the curses and exile, that they would call them to mind. What does he mean by that? He means that they will...
Well, let's go read it. Fuck it. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, right? Now the blessing and the curse is found in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 1 through 15. That's the blessing. And the curses are Deuteronomy 28, verses 15 through 68, right? And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, Salakia, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither the Lord thy God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, hath driven thee. Okay, verse 2. And shalt return unto the Lord thy God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee, this day. Right? Thou and thy children, and with all thine heart and with all thy soul. Right? That's the awakening of the Israelites that's happening right now. Found in Ezekiel, as I said earlier in the video, in Ezekiel chapter 37, verses 1 through 10. Okay? And then in Ezekiel Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 18 says that we'll be pretty much on the street corners, people will be asking you, what meanest thou by these? You know, and that's the reason why I have so many pictures and whatnot of receipts of the evil and wickedness that was done to our people over the past 400 or 500 years. Okay? Breaking down, just, I got a lot of pictures out there when I'm out there preaching, so people can come around and take pictures, gawk, ask questions. That's my fishing net. Like it says in Jeremiah 16:16, I will send among them many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And my fishing net are them pictures that I put out there on the street corner. It's not a gimmick. That's my fishing net. Grab people's interest. Bring your ass in to see what type of fish you are, to see what type of character you are, to see what you believe in, right? Like it says in Romans chapter 8, verse 16, the Spirit bears witness of itself. The witness bears spirit of itself that we are the children of the Most High, roughly paraphrased. And the only way to prove then children, then heirs according to the promise, the only way we can do that is to test the Spirit by the Spirit, right? That's what the fishing net's for, right? Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 3. That then the Lord thy God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all nations whither the Lord thy God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, has scattered thee. Right? So the Most High is going to send his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, his right hand and his strong right arm, right? To receive unto himself, like it says in Matthew chapter 24, verse 31, he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet to gather his elect from the four corners, from one end of heaven to the other. Roughly paraphrased, right? Now, his elect, he made sure to make sure you understood that there's an elected few out of the house of Israel, out of the chosen seed, that are going to be saved on this side. That's it. Ain't going to be all the Israelites are going to be saved. All the black people are going to be bullshit, because the Israelites that believe on the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai are the only ones that are going to be saved. Other than that, you ain't going nowhere. You will be left here and melted. Okay? Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 4. And if any of thine be driven out into the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do good to thee and multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Lord thy God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed to love the Lord thy God, Yahweh, with all thine heart, with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord, and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. Now, the Lord will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed above the Lord, to love the Lord with all thy heart and with all thy soul, right? 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 51, right? Okay. 50. Let's start at verse 50. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of the Most High, neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of the eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed, right? Which goes into another precept of 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 15. We shall not all sleep, we shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, and with the trump of the with the voice of the archangel and with the trump of God, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, to remain with them in the air. So shall we ever be with the Lord. Roughly paraphrased. See how that works? Right? We shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. Okay? So, in other words, the Israelites that the woman is referring to, which are us, right? The hopeful elect, we will no longer be subject to death. Okay? No more. We cannot die anymore. We're no longer subject to it. Okay? That's what she's talking about. That's what the biblical scriptures are referring to. If you read further in Deuteronomy chapter 30, okay? Which goes into biblical precepts that I just spouted off. From the heart, man. Okay? It just came out of nowhere, nigga, I'm telling you. Okay, and so anyway, I'm at my destination at the job.
Wake up, and they will learn who they are. This is happening now. Highlight of my life has been to know that this is happening and watch this prophecy being fulfilled. Across America and throughout the world, descendants of the slave trade are awakening to their identity as Israelites. They are returning to the commandments, to the Sabbath, and to the feast of the Most High. This awakening is also foretold in Luke 21:24. Where the Messiah says that Jerusalem will be trodden down by Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. That period of domination is coming to an end. We are living in a time of Israel's awakening. What began with exile in 70 AD, continued through Africa, culminated in slavery in America, is now restoration. That's what I'm trying to say. It's ending with spiritual restoration. Hallelujah. The same people who were taken in chains are now rising in knowledge, faith, and in identity. This is not Black history. This is biblical history. It's Black history, but it's biblical history. According to prophecy, when Israel fully awakens, judgment will come upon Mystery Babylon. Judgment's going to come. If you believe in the Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and you do not believe that there will be justice for the murders that have continued to happen here, for the atrocities that happened here. If you believe that moms like Emmett Till's mother will not have answers to their prayers, then you don't believe in the same, we don't have the same creator. Because without justice, there's no. God is a God of order and justice. The Most High is of order and justice. So judgment's coming. The chosen people will be restored.
Okay. Judgment is coming. All right. Now I got one final scripture I'm going to put in. Okay. What was it? Jeremiah chapter 50, I think it was. Was it 23? I think it is. No? Salakia. Okay. Right? Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. All that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Their Redeemer is strong. The Lord of hosts, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. Right? So the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, is coming to destroy these devils from off the face of the earth. They know it, man. They scared to fucking death. They having all kind of nightmares and everything. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Yep, that's it. Yep. Where was I at? Yep. Let's go to was it Jeremiah? Was it 33? Damn, I can't remember now. I think it's Jeremiah chapter 33, I think it is. Right. Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 23. Moreover, the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah, saying, Considerest thou not what this people has spoken, saying, the two families which the Lord hath chosen, he hath even cast them off? Thus they have despised my people, that they should no more be a nation before them. Thus saith the Lord, if my covenant be not with day and night, and if I have not appointed the ordinances of heaven and earth, then will I cast away the seed of Jacob and David my servant, so that I will not take any of his seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy on them. Okay? Start back up here again in NLT. The Lord gave another message to Jeremiah. He said, have you noticed what people are saying? The Lord chose Judah and Israel and then abandoned them. They are sneering and say that Israel is not worthy to be counted as a nation. Right? And like I said over in Jeremiah chapter 50, where was that? Chapter 50. Okay. They say, this is what the people say. Okay. Verse 7, all that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. Right? All who found them devoured them. Their enemies said, we did nothing wrong in attacking them, for they sinned against the Lord, their true place of rest, and the hope of their ancestors. See? So that's what these nations are saying, man. They're trying to come up with all kinds of different laws and whatnot in order to destroy the poor from off the face of the earth. Right? Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 25, NLT. But this is what the Lord says. I will no more reject my people than I would change my laws that govern the night and day, earth and sky. I will never abandon the descendants of Jacob or David, my servant, or change the plan that David's descendants will rule the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Instead, I will restore them to their land and have mercy on them. Okay? So the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is going to give us back our land and everything, man. You know, I mean, it's just so beautiful, man. You know, but okay. Anyway.
Justice. So judgment's coming. The chosen people will be restored into the rightful place in the kingdom. People say, why do you do this? People have said in the comments that I do this because I'm afraid of my time in the kingdom. I'm afraid of being in slavery. That is, I have fear only the one that can take my soul. I believe that Gentiles will be in the kingdom with Israel. I believe in Gentile salvation. I believe that Israel is the...
That picture of all of them heathen nations, where is that at? That's in Isaiah 60, ain't it? Where are you at? Isaiah 60? Boom. Right? Isaiah 60, verse 3. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and the kings to the brightness of thy rising. Right? Lift up thine eyes round about, and see. All they gather themselves together. They come to thee. Thy sons shall come from far, and thy daughters shall be nourished at thy side. Then shalt thou see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. You see? So all the forces of the Gentiles, meaning all of the gold, silver that they've hoarded up into themselves, are going to be given unto us. Right? Verse 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath have I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation that will not serve thee shall perish. Yep, those nations shall be utterly wasted. Right? Zechariah 14, verse 16, Salakia. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem, a people before it's a place, 2 Maccabees chapter 5, verse 19, shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the feasts of tabernacles. And it shall be that whosoever will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, Yahushua HaMashiach, okay, even upon them shall be no rain. And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, they shall have no rain, and there shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles. Okay? So they ain't going to have a choice. Okay? Yep. All praises to the Most High Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Yahweh Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone for pushing 100% truth who rule well, as it is written in 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 17. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that have been scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom. Because, the blacks are, for the most part, the Israelites are the chosen people.